Looking ahead to the trading week beginning June 13th, we got to look back at last week where I said we needed to watch yields, and we got massive moves in yields this past week. This past week, we had the 2-year up 37 basis points, the 5-year up 30 basis points, the 10-year up 21 basis points, and the 30-year up 12 basis points. And this is on the heels of equity markets that are selling off again, with the Dow having finished down around 4.5%. S&P right back to the lowest close of this move, close to it, down approximately 5%. Same thing for the NASDAQ, moving down over 5.25%, and the Russell down over 4%, now closing down again near those lowest closes, down 27% or so from its record high close. And then we go into next week where it's a central bank week part 2. This past week, we had the Reserve Bank of Australia, we had the European Central Bank. This coming week, we've got the US Fed, we've got the Bank of England, and we've got the Bank of Japan, all having rate decisions. All of this on the heels of that big US CPI number and that aggressive talk from the ECB that we had last week. Now, Shanghai, China, returning to lockdowns this weekend as COVID cases are spiking. They're doing mass testing again. We thought that might be over. Clearly it's not. That's going to affect the supply chain and the perception of assets next week. Then in terms of data, there's a lot. Monday, we get UK GDP figures, industrial production, and manufacturing production, and a Fed Governor Lael Brainard's speech. Tuesday, we get Japanese industrial production, the Tankan Index, machinery orders from Japan, German inflation data, UK employment data, German and Eurozone ZEW indexes, and PPI in the US. Wednesday, we get EU industrial production, and in the US, we get May retail sales, inventories, the NAHB housing market index for June, along with that FOMC rate decision. Thursday, we get a Bank of England rate decision, Philly Fed, and weekly jobless claims in the US. And that Thursday evening, we get a Bank of Japan rate decision, looking to see if they pivot with all this pressure from other global central banks. And then Friday, we get retail sales in the UK, EU inflation data, industrial production in the US, and then a Jerome Powell post-FOMC decision speech. So a very big week coming up, especially on the heels of what's happened this past week.